Hello everybody, 'tis I, the Rumple One, Friday, December 21st, the year 2012. Well, the world hasn't come to an end quite yet. Still have a few more hours left though, see what happens. What matters? Just continue. I read the replies that you sent the other day, and a lot of good replies, interesting replies. And I'm still pondering this. I don't have a definitive answer. One thing I realized though, what matters sometimes can be situational. For example, it's raining right now. So what matters is that I'm under cover and I'm dry. The temperature right now is, according to this thermometer, it's about 46 degrees outside. So what matters is that I put on enough layers. I think I've got 3 or 4 layers on. Got a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a fleece, and a windbreaker, rain jacket to keep me warm. Got my cap, my boots, my socks, my thick pants. Because that's what matters. And if I get hungry, having something to eat matters. And if I'm thirsty, then having something to drink matters. So depending on the situation, what matters can change, or certain things can become a higher priority than other things. But one thing always matters, no matter what. And that's health. If you're not in good health, if you're ill, sick, feeling poorly, nothing else matters. You just want to get better. Or maybe you just wish you were dead because you just can't take it. If you're injured, getting your injury cared for and treated. I mean, if you're bleeding, stopping that blood flow and dressing that wound's what matters. So you might say, I'm just kind of talking about Maslow's hierarchy, his pyramid. But I think it goes, there's something that's maybe a little bit, maybe it's deeper, maybe it's just a corollary, something off to the side. I mean, for example here, I made what I jokingly call my hillbilly table. Piece of old scrap board that's got, used, I guess, as some kind of workbench or whatever. It's got all these different colored paints. It's got some holes drilled in it. And I use it to set things on, like my gloves here, so they can dry out. Or my drink or whatever. You see sometimes I set my computer on here, and it's just on top of a couple of milk crates. I mean, some people might think, man, that really looks bad. Why don't you build yourself a nice table? You've got the tools, you got some wood out there, you could build yourself something that's a piece of furniture. Well, does it matter? See, that's what I'm talking about. Does this really matter? I mean, sure, I've got some, the cutout, when I made my sink nice for mica top, I could do the same thing and build a base for it. Maybe put a door or drawers in there, but does it really matter? I mean, it does what I want it to do right now, but does the appearance of it really make a difference? So I guess the question is, where do you draw that line and decide that you want to put more effort into something because it matters? I mean, if you were to come over, maybe you want to have a cup of coffee, sit in the other chair. I mean, does it matter? It holds your cup up. Are you going to think less of me because of that? Or would you think more highly of me if I had some real fine piece of furniture with a nice shiny finish on it? No, that's what I'm talking about. And how much people spend, not just in money, but in time and effort and brain power over something like this. Is it trivial? I mean, who's to say? I mean, I don't expect to see this front porch in Better Homes and Gardens magazine. I really don't. That doesn't really matter to me. Might matter to somebody else, but what would be the reason? What would compel them to have that matter? That's what I'm getting to. That's what I'm getting at. I mean, does it matter? I mean, some people might think this is an eyesore. I kind of get a strange pleasure out of it just because maybe it looks so bad it looks good. A perverse sense of beauty. I mean, what's funny is I could probably take this board here. I could probably take this board and hang it in a gallery somewhere. And somebody might come along and pay hundreds or thousands of dollars for this. All because it was hung in a fancy gallery, and maybe I gave it a name and a little write-up, and they sat there and they looked at it. They breathed it in. They took it all in. And they decided that this was worthy to be hung in their home or their gallery. I mean, really. I'm sure some of you have been to museums and you've probably seen a painting or a sculpture that looked like that. I'm not joking. This could be considered modern art. So, the aesthetic value, that's up to the individual. What does it matter? I mean, these things come around, they cycle through. They like the modern look, they like the old-fashioned look. People, they go with the trend, the artsy trend. Same thing with clothes, length of skirts, colors, materials. I mean, does any of that matter? I mean, the point of clothes, I think, is to protect your body from the outside elements. Keep it warm, keep it cool, keep it dry. But there's a billion-dollar fashion industry out there. And the art industry, I don't know, that might be a billion-dollar industry too. And the furniture industry. I don't know if that's billions of dollars, but probably in the millions, tens or hundreds of millions for furniture. And if you looked at the patio deck furniture out there, how much they charge some places, I mean, to me, you buy a chair because it feels comfortable, not because of what it looks like. Of course, when you buy that chair, maybe it has to match the color scheme of your living room or dining room. Otherwise, it looks mismatched. But you know what? In some circles, having mismatched furniture is in. Every chair is different. Every plate is different. That's a look. I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of absurd, really. Because does any of that stuff really matter? So it still leads back to the question that's on the table. What matters? And how do you determine what matters? Maybe that's the real question, is how do you determine what matters? Because as Anthony Robbins says, if you ask a better question, you'll get a better answer. Or maybe we could approach it from the other direction. How do you decide when something doesn't matter? Oh, that doesn't matter. What's that decision tree or decision matrix look like? Maybe I'll have to draw a little box up there. Matter, doesn't matter. I'll have to do some more research on the internet. Maybe there's already been some studies on that. I guess there's some religions that tell you what matters, and I guess there's some philosophers out there that want to tell you what matters. But I think it's more of a personal issue. Because you could be taught as a young child what matters, but then one day as an adult you could have an epiphany. You could ponder something and all of a sudden realize that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. Because what matters is also probably a function of what you have learned, what you've experienced. What matters is probably also conceptual in nature. I mean, other than certain biological needs and urges, what matters is a matter of choice. So let me know what you think. And I really do appreciate the people that took the time to respond and share, you know, something so personal as what matters to them, such as family and their core values. Because I don't think these type of discussions happen often enough. I don't know if people are afraid to say. Maybe they don't think it's polite. Maybe it's too personal. Maybe they haven't even thought about it, so the subjects never come up. So there'll probably be at least another video on what matters. And once again, thank you, and I'd like to hear from you on this subject.